everybody, and welcome to episode 5 of the Imagineers podcast. And today I have with me, returning from her grand adventure to Walt Disney World.
Yes.
Her quest.
Yes.
To finish the Star Wars half marathon and the 10K.
That's right. I did it. I survived. I'm here. This is really me.
Medals in hand.
Still tired. Yeah. Gosh, those are cool medals. They're really heavy too. I tried to be cool and like take a picture wearing all of them. And I'm like, dude, how did Michael Phelps wear like 57 gold medals like all at one time? Like all of his medals or whatever. But yeah, I did it. I'm all in one piece for the most part.
The Force was with her.
I needed it.
As Yoda said, do or do not, there is no try.
That's true.
She did.
Yeah, I did it.
She did.
And I can confirm that they do lights and sounds and stuff in the trees in the first portion of the race. So it's kind of like you're hearing like a space battle, and then you can hear like the Ewoks doing their little Ewok sounds, like you're on Endor. It's really cool. Really good experience. Probably the best just overall experience of a race that I've done at Run Disney was Star Wars. And also because I'm a little biased, I love Star Wars. I do not like that they did it in April. It was very, very humid, very warm. But other than that, it was a great time.
I am seriously considering prepping and training.
Here it comes.
Maybe doing like the 5K to start next year.
Yeah.
So
do it.
I think that'd be fun. But if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it for Star Wars. So.
Oh yeah, it's so fun. I saw great costumes. I didn't see this, but my cheer team saw some people finishing ahead of me. Some guys dressed as Slave Leia. So, real creative.
Classy. So the Susie fan club was there in full support.
Yeah, well, my mom who did the 10K with me the first day on Saturday. And then my friend Sarah, who did her first Run Disney event, she did a 10K. I'm proud of her.
Shout out to Sarah.
Shout out to Sarah. I mean, I got Sarah into it, Matt. So I think I'm a pretty good influencer if I'm convincing you to do a 5K.
So when is the sign up? Just so that I can start thinking.
Actually, I don't know. They are kind of restructuring how they do registration just because it's been so crazy. It's literally been like opening the floodgates when registration opens. So they are delaying registration for next year's events. Like Princess Run isn't even open yet, and normally they do that and like around this time or in March give you 9 months in advance before the run for registration. So just keep an eye out. I'll be sure to remind you, don't worry.
Okay, I'm gonna hold you to that.
Hold your feet to the fire.
So I'm gonna have to start
literally because it's a run,
training and stuff. Of course, it's only 3 miles, so
well, 0.1, that extra 0.1
the 0.1
might take you over the edge.
Well, going from one nerd topic to the next nerd topic, we are going to be discussing Marvel in today's episode, and more specifically, the future of Marvel in the Disney parks. And so this is a very, very big week for Marvel and Disney. We are recording this right before Infinity War comes out in theaters. So by the time this airs, I will have gone to go see Infinity War. They had the premiere the other night. Yes. And
when are you planning on seeing it? Like opening night?
Oh, opening night for sure.
Okay. I'll be at Disney. That's the day before Dapper Day. So I'll probably see it sometime the next week.
Well, let me rephrase that. I'm seeing it Thursday evening because
because you're cool.
Now they start doing, the premieres are 7:00. Night.
So let's just be honest. The movie does not come out on the 27th. It comes out on the 26th because it's not even a midnight premiere anymore. There's like 7 and 9 and 10 o'clock showings of stuff.
Yeah, midnight's a little too late for me nowadays.
Oh no, me too. I haven't done a midnight showing in a long time. I'm always like, 7 p.m. please.
But I can do those 7:00 ones for sure. So. But I have
no spoilers.
Oh, of course not. Of course,
I'm gonna have to stay off the internet for days. I just feel like every platform I use, there's gonna be something spoiled somewhere, whether it's like a meme or a GIF.
Well, See, I'm like thinking of and planning what you can be doing this Friday night, and of course going to the Edison for the
Hmm.
opening of the Dapper Day thing. But also, you can go to the AMC there and watch it.
I
I'm just
could.
saying.
I'll probably go. I mean, we're going to be at Disney for over a week, so and I don't plan fast passes every day, so we've got a couple of days where it's just kind of like chill because there's so many other things to do. May make my way over there at some point. Bring the tissues. I'm just sure I'm going to need them.
I feel like somebody's gonna die. I think
Oh no,
somebody's
someone's going to die. Someone's
there.
absolutely going to die.
There are going to be major
I am
consequences, and
shocked that Steve survived Civil War. And notice I'm not calling him Captain America because he's put his shield down, and so he's nomad. But
for now,
for now, no, I'm convinced he's
I mean,
gonna
you've seen
die.
the trailer, and Black Panther's like, and get this man his shield.
I know, oh my gosh, but like the star, the whole like his just outlook on life is like completely different. The
He's
tough
got
suit's
he's got
different. His
he's
hair,
got the
the
scruff.
beard. I love Chris Evans.
He's got the
So I'm gonna be
scruff.
so emotionally destroyed when he dies.
Well, let's backtrack a little bit and give kind of a brief history of how did Marvel come into play in the Disney universe. So let's go back to August 31st, 2009, when this all began, and a merger with Disney was announced, basically crashed the internet. And then on December 31st of that same year, so like nobody gets any Christmas break.
Mm-hmm.
They're in board meetings, and then the merger was approved,
Yay.
and Marvel and Disney became one.
I mean, you do have to be careful because I see people get mad about like, well, Disney made Deadpool, Disney made this. Disney is still,
Yes, and
essentially limited in various things, which I think we'll get to in a little bit.
same thing with like Lucasfilm. I mean, Lucasfilm is still Lucasfilm. Kathleen
Mm-hmm.
Kennedy is still head of the studio, so it's the same deal. Marvel is still going to be putting out their content, and they have put out quite a lot of content since
Mm-hmm.
since that time in 2009, and actually before that. So far, there have actually been 18 films
Mm-hmm.
made in the Marvel universe, with Avengers: Infinity War being the 19th. So
That's crazy. I mean, if you think about it, can you imagine like having to plan this giant scheme of eventually everything wrapping all up together? Like, that's
and
insane.
I can go back and remember when Iron Man first came out.
I do too.
I remember it, and it was a huge thing. And like, they took a character that was somewhat popular, but not as popular as, like the Hulk or Captain America or
Mm-hmm.
Spider-Man. And they really hit the nail on the head with that very first
Oh my
movie.
gosh. Yeah, I mean, he's a toned down version, but if you have, I mean, Robert Downey Jr. is just
You can't
born
I can't
born for
imagine
that
anyone
role.
else in that role.
No, not at all. The look, the attitude, the vibe, the everything. I mean, and now he's essentially the flagship for um everything I mean, he's the face of things now. So
Yep.
it's come a long way.
And then they came out with The Incredible Hulk. And then they came out with Iron Man 2.
Oh.
And then they released Thor. And then Captain America.
I love Captain America.
Captain America is one of my favorite ones. In fact, I would venture to say, at least in my opinion, I think The Winter Soldier is.
Oh, so if we're talking character or movie, because character is Captain America, but movie, by far,
the movie.
Winter Soldier is probably
maybe the best one they've made.
So suck it to all the DC fans, but I'm gonna say that Winter Soldier is the best comic book movie of all time. Take a seat, Dark Knight. I'm sorry, I love it. I think it has everything to me. I don't like dark movies too.
There was, I mean, if you go look at it, there's there's action, there's like the political intrigue, there's espionage. I mean, it's the whole
good character
thing.
development. They bring Bucky back. Like what? Steve and just everything is so good. And then they just for any Agents of Shield fans, they incorporated that like Hydra thing so well into the show. I mean, it's seamless watching the movie and watching those episodes.
And I'm glad you mentioned that because I think that's what they've done so well. Especially, I remember watching Agents of Shield, and then like right after Winter Soldier came out, like the new episode of Agents of Shield, and then like Hydra starts coming in. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is in perfect sync.
Are you so caught up with the show?
Because
in my opinion, it's trailed off a little bit in sync with the movies of just like things going on.
I have not caught up on this current season, so I need to go back and watch that. But I mean,
it's still really good.
I used to watch like almost weekly. Like, I would not miss an episode.
Yeah, I absolutely love Agents of Shield. It's great.
But so Captain America, and then Avengers was released.
Which movie. Do you remember how crazy it was? It's like they're gonna have like 4 superheroes all in the same thing.
How were they going to do that?
And now we have like 37,000 characters going to all be in one movie.
And we don't bat an eye. It's
not at all.
We come to expect it now.
Oh, so-and-so? Oh, of course. And everyone else you've ever heard of.
And then we have 2 movies that, for me, were kind of the low point. Iron Man 3 and Thor Dark World.
And I love Thor the Dark World. For me, I really like it. I'm hashtag Team Loki. I think Loki is
the best villain ever.
He's such a good villain. There's so much he's very compelling, and he's got a tragic story, but then he's also got that weird like twisted sense of humor. And I love the scene where he's escaped and then he's like Captain America, and it's Chris Evans pretending to be Tom Hiddleston doing an impression of Captain America. It's just so meta. I love Dark World, but
yeah, I think there were just some actual production problems behind the scenes on Thor Dark World, and it kind of translates into the movie. But Dark World was important because of the Infinity Stones. So
by this point, we've got at least 2 Infinity Stones found.
Because of the Tesseract.
And so 2.
And then we go into the Winter Soldier, which we just talked about.
Best movie of all time.
And then from out of left field, Guardians of the Galaxy.
That was huge. I didn't follow the comics as closely or as dedicated as many people have or do or did. If you had no idea what was going on, you absolutely had no idea what was going on when you saw that first trailer.
And I'm like, okay, Bradley Cooper as a talking raccoon and Vin Diesel as a talking tree that says 3 words. Over and over.
I would love to just be in the room where they're explaining to him, like, okay, so now this time when you say I am Groot, this is what you're actually saying. So, put that emotion behind it. Like, oh, okay.
Some good acting right there. I love Guardians. Guardians is one of my favorites now. Love the soundtrack. I think the soundtrack is kind of what kind of pushed it over the edge for me. It's just very, that's American music.
Yeah.
So good taste. Good taste, that Star-Lord.
I like, laughing during movies, and we'll get to volume 2 in a minute, but between those, I just had so much fun watching those movies. They're great.
For sure. And then we have Age of Ultron that came out. So once again, another Infinity Stone with
Vision.
I wonder what's going to happen to Vision.
I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see. Dun, dun, dun. Suspense is building.
Really?
And then we had another kind of surprise for me. A movie that I really just had no, I don't want to say desire to see, because I did want to see it, but I wasn't expecting much out of it. Especially like watching the trailer, and we're talking about Ant-Man here. And I remember seeing the trailer for the first time and the big fight scene that they show where it's like Thomas the Tank Engine. I'm just like, okay,
where's this
cool.
going?
But I was pleasantly surprised.
I agree. I think that's a great way to explain Ant-Man. Is a pleasant surprise.
Paul Rudd, phenomenal.
Paul Rudd's a treasure. Like
Evangeline Lilly, of course. So, and then so that was great. And then we go into Civil War with the big fight with Captain America and Iron Man. And
which team were you on?
See,
okay,
I didn't pick sides because
that's not how it works.
I'm neutral. Okay.
I tried to stay neutral. I love both characters so much. Iron Man is a very close second favorite of mine, but I ended up, Team Cap for two reasons. One, I do agree with his point of view in the movie. And two, when I marry Chris Evans, it would be really awkward if I wasn't Team Cap, if he found out that I was Team Iron Man. So
completely understandable.
Yeah. Just looking to keep the peace in the future household.
But I think, favorite part obviously was the big fight at the end at the airport and the reveal of Spider-Man.
So good. I mean, I can't even explain to you. Best Spider-Man ever. Good job, Tom Holland.
Yeah, Tom Holland, I think, is the perfect balance.
And my gosh, he's a kid. Like, he's not 35 years old. We're not having a guy, middle-aged playing a teenager. What in the world? And it's Civil War is also kind of like I guess like a test run of having even more characters in a movie.
Right.
So we're increasing from Avengers and then Civil War, and then obviously, like it quadruples for Infinity War.
Yep. And then right after that came Doctor Strange. So Benedict.
With an American accent. I still can't get used to that.
But it's so perfect.
Oh no, he's
like
great.
when I see Doctor Strange now, that's all I think. It's him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So perfectly done. It was almost like Inception with everything. With a
lot of thinking in that movie.
Well, for sure. Then we got Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, which
I like better than the first one.
I actually like the first one still better.
Yeah.
I think this one had some better jokes, but as far as plot line goes, I think
it's just backstory.
Yeah, I think the first one is definitely more important to the overall Marvel storyline than Volume 2.
Yeah.
Although in Volume 2 we did get "I'm Mary Poppins, y'all."
I'm Mary Poppins, y'all. That's classic.
Best line ever.
It really is. I love all the t-shirts. I want one. Spider-Man Homecoming.
Spider-Man Homecoming. So great.
Really good.
So great. Once again with Tom Holland, I think he's the perfect balance for the right Spider-Man. And that is not knocking Tobey Maguire or Andrew Garfield, because I think Tobey was the perfect Peter.
And Andrew was the perfect Spider-Man.
Yeah. But they weren't great at the other ends.
No. And like Andrew was too cool to be Peter Parker.
Yeah.
He's like a hipster. I was like, no, you're supposed to be a dork.
But Tom bridges, I think, both those roles very, very well. So, and then with Homecoming, the Vulture, I think it's just one of my favorite. It has to be one of my favorite villains within the Marvel universe.
Mm-hmm.
Just because you understand why he's doing what he's doing, and you almost empathize with him.
Those are the best villains in general. I feel like that's the best thing you can do with a villain is to kind of make an audience pause and be like, okay, but they're still bad. Okay, but I get it,
And when that front door opens and you're standing there in front of Peter,
I was like, what?
I had a feeling it was coming. I'm like, I'm thinking I'm thinking that she is
His daughter.
Yeah.
Huh. Well, I mean, they had to get her out of out of the way somehow.
So yeah, really looking forward to the future of that franchise with Holland. At this point, like, I can't not trust them on what they're doing. I mean,
Oh yeah.
they've never made a bad movie. There's been some weaker movies, but never a bad movie.
Yeah. I agree with that.
And I don't want to call Thor Ragnarok weaker, but I mean, there really wasn't anything. I mean, that was a fun movie.
That movie was really funny. It was fun. It was you see a new side of Thor that I hadn't expected, which is someone who's, semi-normal and not always like talking in Shakespearean prose again, which is good. And then we get Loki coming, back into the corral, which makes me happy.
And then we go into the highest grossing Marvel movie ever made so far, Black Panther.
I haven't seen it.
Susie!
I know. Do I need to know anything going into Infinity War? I mean, like, I know who the characters are and like their relation to each other, and the idea that like Wakanda's open up to the world, but like there's no, I mean, and it doesn't come on DVD or anything or like digital release in time for me to see it before Infinity. This will be the first time that I've gone out of order, so I'm not waiting for.
Somebody needs to get to the movie theater stat.
It's not there anymore. I've already looked.
Are you sure?
I'm sure. I looked to see when it came on digital release and it's not in time. And so I was like, oh crap, let me see if I can go see it in theaters. And like, it's not there anytime that works for me. It's like, I think it's still like on a Tuesday at like 11 a.m. But like, I work. So it's not going to happen.
Okay.
It's not.
Okay, somebody needs to take a sick day because it's still in theaters. So
I can't do that.
You can totally do that.
No, I can't.
Say it's for research.
Research for what? I work in marketing. Okay, maybe.
Exactly.
The like one of the best marketed and highest grossing films of all time. Yeah, we'll see how that flies.
Yeah, but it's really awesome. So
I know, and I know.
And I don't
kicking myself for not having seen it in time. But in all fairness, it's still Marvel's fault for releasing two films so close together. If they had waited another week to release Infinity War like originally intended, it would have been much closer, and I probably could have seen a digital version of Black Panther, like buy it on Amazon or whatever, and then Infinity War. So it's Marvel's fault.
It's Marvel's fault. Let's blame it on Marvel.
I will.
Well, perhaps you just go look up the Cliff's Notes version. I don't think there's anything like really. I mean, it's important. It's a really good intro to the character. It's a good origin story.
Is there anything post-credit scenes or credit scenes that I need to know going into Infinity War?
Yes.
Okay, well then that's what I'll look up.
There's one that is important.
Okay.
That may or may not involve a certain Mr. Bucky Barnes.
Okay, like typing right now to go watch it.
We'll do that later. All right.
I will. We got a job to do here.
So that is the entire slate of everything that Marvel has done so far.
FYI, in case you haven't been paying attention for 10 years.
So we are super hyped for Infinity War coming out soon. I mean, since the merger with Disney, they have made over $5.5 billion in the box office. Domestically. That's not worldwide.
Also, like other countries that, love these movies because they're human and they,
domestically they have.
Great. Everyone loves Marvel.
Domestically, they've made $5.5 billion, and going back, they paid $4.24 billion to merge. So
yeah, so
they've
DC
already made their money.
Kind of knows what they're doing with stuff.
Looking at you, DC.
Whatever. I'll throw shade all day.
Shots fired. So, what does this all mean for the Disney parks? Well, it's a little complicated,
Mm-hmm.
and it's complicated because of Universal.
Yeah.
So, let's go back just a little bit, back to
Mm-hmm.
1994.
1994.
Excellent year.
I was learning to walk.
And uh, Universal went into a contract with Marvel, and they basically were setting up their ownership of certain characters for their upcoming park, Islands of Adventure, which came out in the late 90s. And if you have never been to Islands of Adventure down at Universal Studios in Orlando, there is an X-Men attraction. There is some Fantastic Four characters that you'll see.
Mm-hmm.
There's Incredible Hulk. There is Spider-Man. Captain America is one of the characters that walks around. So the Marvel image is very well steeped inside that park.
Yeah. The Hulk is an iconic ride.
The Hulk is actually one of my favorite roller coasters for sure. It's just very well done, very well designed. They just recently remodeled it and refurbished it, so like the track's new, and then they updated the cars, so it's actually a little bit smoother of a ride. But it is awesome. But this kind of when Disney merged with Marvel, the big question was, okay, so what happens now? And basically nothing changes unless Universal decides that they want to cancel that current contract. And one of the stipulations is that Universal basically owns all of those Marvel characters for their parks, for X-Men, Fantastic Four, and the Avengers east of the Mississippi. So that's really important. And that is actually why over in Disneyland, why you're seeing Guardians of the Galaxy, you're seeing Spider-Man that's going to be coming very soon.
Did they have Captain America already out there too? I've seen a couple pictures.
Yeah, they're doing some Marvel stuff starting this summer, and I think you're going to start seeing some characters really pop up. But in Guardians really isn't a problem either. We can do that on both coasts. We are doing it on both coasts.
Yeah.
And we'll get to that in a minute. But the only one that is kind of questionable is Drax, because he in the comics kind of has this relationship with the Avengers. So it's kind of confusing, and it's all legal stuff, which we won't go into now. But
no, not even going to try.
It hasn't made things very easy at all, for sure.
No, but are we then like kind of out of luck down in Disney World, Orlando?
For certain characters as of right now, yeah. We are not going to see Iron Man. We are not going to see Spider-Man. We're not going to see the Hulk.
Don't say it.
We're not going to see Captain America.
Okay. Well, we'll see. I mean,
but yeah, who knows what the future will hold.
Yeah,
this is true.
We have Bradley Cooper as a talking raccoon, so anything's possible.
But that's basically the gist, a very short, abbreviated version of kind of what's going on and what that contract means. So, what does this mean for each individual park? So, Disneyland, because they have no restrictions, are going to have more options for right now. Going back to last summer, May 27th, Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout opened. It replaced Tower of Terror.
I would have thought there'd be more outcry.
Oh no, there was.
I mean, I saw it, but it didn't meet the amount of anger I anticipated, I guess.
Short of picket lines.
I was expecting picket lines.
and people chaining themselves through the attraction itself. There was a lot of internet outcry. I mean, because Tower of Terror, and I say this in the very first episode, it's other than Flight of Passage, it's my favorite ride because of the theming, because of the ride itself. Just the whole thing is amazing. Now, the one in Disneyland was different than the one down here over in Walt Disney World, in that Disneyland did not go inside the building. Like your elevator car does not move inside the building like it does at Walt Disney World, where you go through the little creepy sequence with like the giant eyeball that's looking at you, and then the creepy ghost girl singing "It's raining, it's pouring," and then they all ghosts disappear into the line, and then the doors open up and you drop. Awesome.
What was that last part?
You drop or go up, and it's random, and that's what makes it great too.
Yeah.
It's totally random.
Oh.
You could go up, you could go down. You never know.
Well, if that's your thing. But Disneyland has a Guardians ride instead now.
Yeah. So it was a little easier to, I guess, refurb into Guardians of the Galaxy because, you didn't have to change like interior of the rides. You just put screens where the doors opens up. So, and then you can see the movies, and has awesome music, has this great soundtrack, just like the movie. But so it has become one of the most popular attractions at Disneyland very quickly. And when they opened up the ride and the area around it, some eagle-eyed fans noticed that there was actually this hatch of some sorts that was outside of the ride, and had the Avengers symbol on it. And that led to people kind of going, okay, what's going on here? And sure enough, later that summer at D23, it was announced that the Marvel universe will be expanding even more inside the Disney parks, not just in Disneyland, but in most of the parks around the globe. Already this year, D23 in Japan, it was announced there have been concept posters that were posted for Disneyland and Disneyland Paris and Hong Kong Disneyland, all the parks that are expecting to see some Marvel expansion in the next few years. But the promotional poster for Disneyland had Spider-Man, Black Panther, and Doctor Strange in the background.
That's really cool.
So that's really exciting. It makes me want to get on a plane as soon as it's open and go see it, because I know that some of those characters we won't be getting here for a long time, if not ever. And so that is some of that stuff's going to be coming as soon as 2020. And it's actually going to be taking place of A Bug's Land over there at Disneyland. So this is your last chance to experience anything over there, because I think it's supposed to shut down completely this later this summer. So moving on to what this means for us in here in Florida, also at D23 in 2017, we did get confirmation of Guardians of the Galaxy coming to Epcot.
Goodbye, Ellen. Goodbye, Bill Nye.
You know, I think the only thing that I will miss from that attraction
is the nap. I like it. I'm one of the I laugh at it every time just because it's silly, and it's really awkward when you're in there and like you've seen it, 24 times or whatever, and all the other tourists are just tired and in there for the AC, and you're the only one laughing. But that just shows how kind of out of date Ellen was.
One thing I will give them is it had an excellent soundtrack. It's so great we actually have it as our close for the show. So, but I think the music and the nap were my favorite parts of that attraction. It either needed to be updated or just completely taken out. And I know that this is a really hot topic for a lot of people right now, because there are a lot of Epcot purists out there, and I totally get that. Epcot, since it started, has really been a heavy educational themed
I still feel
park.
like it is.
And I think it is too. You have Living with the Land, which is still there. Very educational. I love it. You have Soarin', which I know it's more of a thrill ride per se, but you are seeing other parts of the globe.
Yeah.
You look at Test Track,
Science,
science,
cars,
yes,
mission
and
space, science, throwing up, but still science.
yeah,
No,
but
I know better than to get on missions.
have you thrown up on that ride? Is that personal
No,
experience?
I know someone who got, like, when it first came out, they got like really sick, and I was like, nope, not gonna do it. So
Well, they do have barf bags for your convenience.
whatever. Sometimes you just have to know your limits. I would ride.
Now you can do green.
I feel like such a like.
Can you do green?
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with like Soarin' and other things, but yeah, I guess I'll do I could if I wanted to, but like, I just don't want to.
When was the last time you did mission space?
I've never done mission space.
Ever?
No.
So Tower of Terror.
I would rather ride Tower of Terror than.
I'm starting to keep a list here of everything that you have not done.
But also, I love Disney, but I just know what I don't like. And I would just rather not, risk a malfunction.
Well,
All right.
yeah. Well, I'll tell you this. So there's an orange and green mission for mission space.
Mm-hmm. I can try to do the green one. Like, it's fine.
The orange one spins. That is how you get the G-forces, because it's a simulator.
I have thrown up on a spinning ride before. It wasn't at Disney. It was at a fair. So I don't spin. I've learned that lesson.
The green mission does not spin.
Okay.
And it has been updated. So it is actually not a mission to Mars. It is a mission around the Earth's atmosphere. So it's like soaring around.
Okay. That seems a little safer.
Soaring around the world, but from space.
Okay.
So you fly
soaring
over.
Around the orbit.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you see the Grand Canyon and the Great Wall of China, and then
from space.
Yes, and you see Italy all lit up at night, and then you land at Cape Canaveral.
Okay.
Yeah, not bad.
All right. Well.
So for those of you out there who get motion sick, the green is a nice alternative. So don't feel like you have to miss out on that attraction if you want to do it.
I'm just like indifferent. I've got other things there I'd rather do, especially this upcoming Guardians of the Galaxy ride.
So, yeah, going back to that. So we don't know exactly what they're going to do with it. They could have an educational-ish themed something or another, like tied into it. Energy. I don't know.
The orb, because of energy.
Yeah.
Because of the Infinity Stone. So that's not real science. But
maybe they're going to steal some of the batteries from.
We'll learn how batteries work.
So I think we're going to be pleasantly surprised. I mean, I remember going back when they opened Pandora, when they announced Pandora, we're like, Avatar? What? Animal Kingdom? What? How does this belong here? And now we don't even second guess it because it's pretty much the greatest thing they've ever done.
And it's its own area, but it's still like it seamlessly fits into.
And I think
the Disney brand of perfection.
And I think what makes it more impressive is that they took a franchise that I could care less about.
Blue Pocahontas.
Yeah. And they made it into something that everyone can enjoy and can get really immersed into. So we do know that it is going to be a roller coaster, the new Guardians of the Galaxy attraction. And not only is it going to be a roller coaster, it's going to be one of the largest indoor roller coasters in the world. So that's exciting.
What are you thinking? It's going to be more like family-friendly roller coaster, like some of the ones in Magic Kingdom? Or you think it's going to be more intense?
I think it's going to be a little bit more intense. That's just my gut feeling. I think they're going to, because Epcot needs a thrill ride. That's just my opinion. I enjoy thrill rides. They need something that can compete with Universal and the Hulk and Rip Ride Rocket. And I think maybe this may be it. So
that makes sense. It's a missing kind of piece there. You're right.
Because, I mean, there's so many other things, family-friendly attractions that are already in Epcot. And we've gone over most of them. Mission Space is family-friendly. The most gray area is test track, just because it's fast, and when you go through it, it like jerks you around, and you do all the tests and turns. And
Yeah.
Frozen is very family friendly. Soren, I think, would fit in that category as well, and
Yeah.
so would Spaceship Earth. So I think it kind of needs that little edge,
Yeah.
that thrill
I mean,
aspect to it.
every other park has a more intense ish in Magic Kingdom, but yeah, Everest, Rock and Roller Coaster makes sense. Makes sense. I can
And
see that.
and anything less than thrilling would be a huge disservice to Peter Quill and Star-Lord. So
yeah, and Disney's so good about keeping things and brand, so they'll do a great job with everything there.
And that's actually not the only Guardians thing that is actually coming to the park. And we'll actually see this one before we actually see the ride. There is going to be a new show coming to the America Gardens Theater in World Showcase this summer. And it's going to be a Guardians of the Galaxy music show, stage show.
Because nothing says America more like songs from the late 1970s.
I think it kind of fits in. I understand where they're going with this. They're kind of introducing all park guests to Guardians. It's in America, so you're getting those American rock classics.
Yeah, it's those are very Americana songs.
And I don't want to hear that it doesn't fit into the theming of the park, because this is also the same location of where the Barbie show was back in the 90s. So whatever.
Oh, I mean, that was before my time. I mean, I was in the 90s. I just don't remember that. We didn't go see that show.
It's horrendous. I'm sure you can find video of it somewhere. Yeah. But yeah, short-lived, and rightfully so. But we'll see how this show turns out. I think it'll be popular. I think people like it. The a cappella group that it is replacing was fairly popular. So it's the same vein, just with IP, intellectual property. So,
and then there's all the other, Disney parks all over the world.
Right. Disneyland Paris is getting the Iron Man ride, which is actually going to replace Rock and Roller Coaster. So that'll be coming in the next few years. They're also getting a stage show out there with the Avengers characters. So Spider-Man, Iron Man, Captain America, Black Widow are all going to fight Thanos on stage. And there's going to be lights and lasers, and that'll be kind of fun whenever that comes out. And then the Iron Man experience, which is actually already in Hong Kong, which is one of their most popular attractions, they're getting another Marvel attraction, and it's actually going to be Ant-Man and the Wasp. And that'll be coming in the next few years. So, and we'll actually get...
That's intriguing.
Yeah.
To me, that's the most intriguing, because I don't know where that's going.
They're really, I guess, banking on the success of the Ant-Man and the Wasp movie, which comes out this summer. So should be very interesting to see how that all turns out. But I think the next few years are really going to be interesting for Marvel within the Disney parks itself. We already know the direction of where the movies are going. They're well established. They're successful. People love them. Most people love them. Not saying everyone. It's not for everybody. But I think their footprint within the park is going to obviously start expanding. And I think it's going to be exciting for people who are looking for more of that stuff inside a Disney park.
Yeah. And Disney's always looking for ways to add new things, incorporate, whatever is popular into the parks, not like overexposing things like Frozen, perhaps. Was. Sorry, I love Frozen, but it's bit much.
Like the
I don't think we'll get tired of this though, because there's so much variety in Marvel. They're never really gonna run out of things to do.
Marty Sklar, who was an Imagineer who passed away just recently, I believe at one point said the parks are not a museum. It's not a museum. I mean, it's meant to grow. It's meant to change. And that's why I'm okay with it. So we'll just have to see how things go. And I think we're going to like what we see.
I think so too.
Well, I think we have adequately covered the Marvel universe inside Disney.
Yeah.
But yeah, so thanks for listening, everybody. We hope you have enjoyed today's episode. And if you like this episode, go rate us on iTunes and Google Play and Stitcher, and just, leave us some feedback. Like us on social media. We have a Facebook page, Imagineers Podcast. We have a website, imagineerspodcast.com. So shoot us an email, leave us a comment. We're happy to get back with you. So until next time, everybody, keep that imagination going. And as Walt said, if you can dream it, you can do it.
We'll see y'all real soon.